The Pokemon World Championships are just a few days away, and we're surely gonna get some new Pokemon information. However, over the weekend, the leakers went crazy again and dropped even more for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Let's take a look. All right, first things first, we've got the new coin Pokemon, which we know is going to be kind of a quest, much like Diglett or Spiritomb. It is being likened by the Riddler to the Spiritomb quest in Pokemon Legends Arceus, so do not think that this is going to be something you're gonna get very quickly. Apparently this coin Pokemon is very cool. I guess it's a ghost type, but we're gonna have to travel around the region, get those coins, and then ultimately be able to form the Pokemon when we've collected presumably 100 of them. So again, it's gonna probably take a little while. Guides will come out, we'll have guides on the channel, things like that. Then we've got information saying the new Earthworm Pokemon and the new Crab Pokemon are bosses. Now, we knew that there was gonna be a new Earthworm Pokemon from some previous talks and a new Crab Pokemon, but apparently they are boss Pokemon, which is gonna be similar to Alpha Pokemon as we saw in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now the thing is these Alpha Pokemon are gonna be a little different because they're not gonna be like around every corner of the map like they were in Hisui, but rather they're gonna be in specific locations in the map, and they're gonna be tougher Pokemon to face, and apparently they don't evolve. I guess there's a few other ones. There's some at the lake. There's some that are kind of spread around. The Earthworm is gonna be one of them, as well as, like I said, this crab, which based on some translations we have from Pokisutami, it's gonna be a horsehair crab or something similar to that. We actually see an image of it and we can kind of get an idea of what this animal looks like and what this boss Pokemon may be based off of. So that's the deal with boss Pokemon. It seems very cool. I think that the trailer that we saw with kind of the, the moving of the ground outside of that tower, that probably has to do with the Earthworm Pokemon and the fact that it's a boss. I have a feeling we're gonna get cool little animated cutscenes when we approach these boss Pokemon, and then it's gonna just be one extra thing for us to do in the world. Maybe it's part of one of the 3 storylines. Maybe it's part of actually gathering treasure. I'm not sure, but I think that that's going to be very interesting. And it makes me wonder if the coin quest that's similar to Spiritomb is going to be required to ultimately beat the game. Because, you know, you kind of had to do that in Legends Arceus, right? You had to have Spiritomb for your decks to be able to do Arceus, and that was part of beating the game. So anyway, I digress about that. So apparently this is the approach for Alpha and Totem Pokemon into the game. So cool stuff. Then we've got information that there's going to be the regional bird, which is an electric seagull. Wingull, get out the way, Pico. We don't need you anymore. We have an electric seagull in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in the Paldea region. And then rejoice, KG plays some music right now because we're apparently getting a regional bug, Grasshopper Cricket. You already know I'm pumped about a Grasshopper Cricket Pokemon. I mean, we kind of have Kricketot, we have Cricketune, so maybe they're running out of ideas with 1,000 Pokemon in the house, but nonetheless, we are getting like a true Grasshopper would be sick, right? Because Cricketune cool. Give me a green Grasshopper, baby. I'm all over it. I'm excited. Apparently, Paldea is gonna bless me with some amazing bug-type Pokemon. We know that there's gonna be this Grasshopper now. We know that there's potentially a Dung Beetle, and there's a couple other things. So maybe Late Chunk's rivalry is ultimately with this Grasshopper. Time will tell, but I'm very excited. And you know, it's funny because we've gotten so much leaked, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today, is the leaker has indicated that they're taking a little step back from leaking for the next 2 weeks, and with the World Championship coming this week and potentially news, I don't really know how much is left to really have leaked. I mean, we obviously don't have Pokemon, we don't have... To me, it's like, at the end of the day, there's still plenty for us to find out about. Maybe it's, you know, Pokemon images, seeing what they actually look like, abilities, things like that. There's still plenty to explore, but man, we have gotten a lot of leaks this season, and I'm gonna do, I said it in the last video, I'm gonna do like a full Pokedex breakdown, because we have a lot of information as to what this Pokedex is actually gonna look like in this game. I think it's also worth checking out my merch, guys. TeamShiny.com. You guys get over to TeamShiny.com, pick up some sweet merch, and use code SUMMER to get 15% off your purchase if you pick up 3 t-shirts or more. We've got some of the best designs of shiny Pokemon that you could ever ask for, so take a second, treat yourself. TeamShiny.com. Take a look at our designs. I'm sure your favorite Pokemon's there. If it's not, let me know in the comments section below what we should add to Team Shiny ASAP before this summer sale is over. The Riddler's back on his nonsense again, talking about habanero. That's a spicy type of pepper, and it's like of a dog with another head, and people are thinking this maybe has something to do with a habanero Cerberus. Maybe it's a multi-headed habanero pepper. We do know that there's gonna be a grass and fire type for the first time in Paldea. So with a grass and fire type coming, a lot of people are thinking it could be a pepper Pokemon. That's what people have thought for the longest time, right? Spicy peppers, spicy, hot, fire, grass, pepper. Boom. I really just explained that for you guys. I think it's a possibility. Maybe that's what he's hinting at. Time will tell, but I'm very excited for a pepper Pokemon. I'm a big hot cherry pepper guy. That's my favorite pepper. I think it's the right mix of spicy and kind of sweet. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful pepper. If you've never had a hot cherry pepper, you're missing out. Riddler Koo talks about the team that he wants to rock in Scarlet and Violet. Nico, Wani, Kamo, Ensign, Ganon, Penunu. I definitely didn't say those right. And lovely Poki Sutami with the translation. Nico means cat, perhaps Sprigatito. Wani means crocodile. Ensign means engine. We missed duck there. Kamo is duck. So Koo wants to use the 3 starters, which is a good sign. You know, we want to use the 3 starters. Obviously, we know they're at this point they're based on magician, dancer, singer. Interesting themes for sure. Wants to use the 3 starters. Wants to use the engine, which may very well be the car engine that we showed from what we're assuming to be the evil team. Ganon, which is the rock salt, which we talked about extensively in the last video. Maybe it has to do with the Fleur de Sal, kind of this flower pattern that exists. That might have been the Pokemon that leaked with the poison terrestrial mechanic on top of it. And then Bread Dog, which is Fido, and we do believe that Fido gets an evolution. I don't know what that's going to be, but it's a fairy type Pokemon. This is a relatively balanced team. If that he has poison and you know, steel fairy. I don't know what rock salt's gonna be, but I'm just kind of theory-modding here. But nonetheless, very exciting stuff to kind of hear what kind of team he wants to rock with. And to kind of shift things up, I've been wanting to cover some of this stuff on the channel, and I may start making separate videos. I'm kind of curious on your thoughts, but I'm a big fan of Pokemon Unite, which is a Pokemon MOBA game that came out about a year ago. And they've got a new character releasing this week, Tyranitar. They just released Buzzwole, and the next 3 Pokemon are actually revealed and leaked for that. That's going to be Scizor, Mew, and Dodrio. Dodrio being the first speedster added to the game since I think launch, actually. I'm particularly excited for the Scizor. There's some really cool stuff coming to the game, as well as kind of a new map. They're going to be rolling out a new map, it seems, with Rayquaza. I think it's based on the Sky Pillar, and it's going to feature like a Selgor and Escavalier. Apparently, it's a limited time map, but it also features the Reggies, like Reggie Eliki, Reggie Ice, and Reggie Drake, Reggie Steel, and Reggie Rock. And it's actually really exciting. So September, they're looking to drop some new Pokemon, and ultimately, I'm very excited to try to play Scizor, because Buzzwole is pretty fun, but Scizor is going to be really cool. We've seen some kind of leaked screenshots of that, which is really neat. But like I said, I've been kind of wanting to, now that I've done so much Sword and Shield leaks and news and updates, I kind of want to cover the leaks and news and updates for everything in Pokemon and do separate videos. So let me know your thoughts on that. I obviously condensed into this one to get your opinions, but I kind of feel like at this point, I might as well just kind of lean into the Pokemon news that we've been doing. You guys seem to enjoy it. I have fun doing it, so that's that. Thanks so much for watching this one, guys. We'll have a full update coming probably tomorrow regarding the decks, because again, there's a lot of stuff in the decks that we can break down. And we pretty much have almost the full decks, and then the Worlds is coming up this week, so I think we're gonna get a reveal, or at least something this week. Exciting times. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and don't forget to check out TeamShiny.com, pick up some sweet merch there, and use code SUMMER to get 15% off your purchase. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.